Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. I knew it. You freaking liars. Let's go.
Channel on the internet.
Top 10 lies the UK told the world. I don't know, just fun video that I typed in. Top 10 and saw this. Let's go. Original link to the video, top of the description, right below that. Link to the Discord. Click on it, send it right over there. Let's see what you lied to me about.
I'm your host, Rebecca Felgate, and today we're talking about the top 10 lies the UK told the world. Now, I guess this could be seen as a bit of a contentious video. We've made some similar videos on places like China and North Korea and Russia, so why not turn the lens on the motherland, or my motherland? Some stats for you before we crack into this video.
Motherland,
An article
sort
in
of.
the Daily Telegraph says that the average Briton tells more than 10 lies a week, with 2/5 of people claiming these lies are sometimes necessary. So my question to you guys, wherever you're from, is how often do you lie? Do you think it's okay to lie? I personally try not to.
I don't think I lie that much. I also don't think I'm a great liar.
Because, I don't know, there's morals in there, but also I feel like lies are very stressful and it's better for people just to know the facts. Lies are always uncovered and then it's always worse when people find out you've been lying. So it's honestly just better to be honest. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, do leave a thumbs up on this video and share it with a friend. And if you guys want to connect with me on social media, there is a link to my Instagram in the description box. Alright, let's do this. Coming into number 10, we have the UFO Cover Up. It seems that Winston Churchill ordered a cover-up of UFO information in the 1950s. There was a genuinely concerning incident of an RAF aircraft encountering a mysterious unidentified flying object. It seems that a reconnaissance plane and its crew were returning from a mission over in Europe when they were involved in a strange incident over the English coast near Cumbria. It is said that their aircraft was approached noiselessly by a metallic UFO which shadowed them. It seems Churchill was so distressed by the incident that he demanded it be kept secret for 50 years to avoid mass panic. He also wanted to avoid what he thought would be a destruction of the belief in the church, which, what? Withholding that.
Oh, I was gonna say, couldn't he just be thinking, a UFO is an unidentified flying object, so anything you see in the sky that you don't know what it is technically a UFO, right? And so I thought it might be a concern it was some other country's, maybe like a Soviet weapon or something like that. Or or when did he see it? 52? Okay, Soviet. Wait. But no, he actually thought it was aliens.
Kind of information from the UK and the wider world just to keep people in line, doesn't seem okay to me. Coming in at number 9, we have the lies of World War I. While the Allies did win World War I, if you can never say there's a winner in war, it wasn't as successful a win or a successful a campaign as the British portrayed. Propaganda was rife during World War I, and so was censorship. 4 days before war was officially declared, the Defence of the Realm Act was passed, which gave the government power to outlaw criticism of the war effort. It literally stipulated that no person shall by word of mouth or in writing spread reports likely to cause disaffection or alarm amongst any of His Majesty's forces or amongst the civilian population.
That sounds so vague.
No person shall by word of mouth or in writing spread reports likely to cause disaffection or alarm amongst any of His Majesty's forces or amongst the civilian population. So, no bad-mouthing, basically. Any British failings were totally erased from all British supporting media, and absolutely no German successes were reported. The British public and the wider world had no idea how bad things were at the time. Even after the war, details were omitted for many, many years. The war was reported as success, despite the value of the pound falling 61.2%, and a net loss of £250 million, which back then was a heck of a lot. Coming into number 8, we have...
I feel like no country is really a, what's the word? Democracy? Or I feel like when war comes along, a lot of the, government staying out of your life and not telling you what to do, a lot of that goes out the window, and I can see why. So I'm not that surprised there.
The lies of the strategic bombing campaign. Before Winston Churchill's appointment as Prime Minister, the UK and Germany had pledged not to attack targets where civilians were at risk during World War II. It is largely believed that Hitler was the first to take his gloves off by breaking this promise, but actually, it's a very, very grey area, and it is considered by many that actually the UK struck first after an accidental bomb fell in London.
The problem with the issue is that, well, if you make that rule, okay, that, all right, don't strike civilian targets, but then you know that they're not going to strike civilian targets. And then you could kind of hide military stuff there. And so then, or you might get paranoid that they're then going to use that as a loophole to hide military stuff there. And I don't know.
Regardless, the Royal Air Force showed no mercy, and the most morally debated attack was the horrifying attack on Dresden in 1945. The other strategic bombings could have been considered tactical, but Dresden was undefended and came at a time when Germany were already on the cusp of losing. While at the time the UK and the States defended their actions in Dresden.
I mean, we dropped atomic bombs, so I don't think we can poo-poo here. All right.
Which killed 25,000 people horribly. Afterwards, it seemed more likely that actually it wasn't a war tactic. They were showboating and warning Russia. By and large, the UK defend their action as necessary to the war effort today, but they even bombed air raid shelters. It's an old classic. At number 7, we have the Unsinkable Ship. The RMS Titanic was commissioned by the British shipping company White Star Line and was the largest ship in the world at the time. White Star Line's chairman J. Bruce Ismay was a competitive man and wanted his ship to make headlines and impress the world, making his vessel stand out against German and American competitors. The people behind the Titanic claimed that the ship was unsinkable. The media lapped it up, and then the term was applied to the ship ahead of its maiden voyage. This was a lie that many people believed and were very soothed by. It turns out...
I could be wrong here, but I heard that if they never saw the iceberg and they just hit it head on, then it was more likely that the ship would have survived a front collision. Of course, it caused a lot of people to fall over and maybe get hurt or possibly get killed. But I don't think the thought was that it would sink. I don't know if it would have sunk. You get my point.
There's no such thing as an unsinkable ship, obviously. Over 1,500 people died.
When it turned and it scraped, I'm sorry.
When the Titanic sunk to the bottom of the North Atlantic Ocean. Coming into number 6, the Loch Ness Monster was real, or so
it's
the
a
government
piece of wood. Stop it.
The Loch Ness Monster was a genuine concern for the Scottish government and for the police department. They believed that Nessie existed, but Scotland kept their concern a secret, letting people dismiss the legend as a myth. Nessie was first reported in the 1930s by the infamous Courier, and recently declassified documents revealed that a former Scottish police chief named William Fraser said there is something strange going on in Loch Ness. It seems
that means there's a dinosaur left over from prehistoric times that's still in the lake. Boom, solved. I don't get whether you believe in Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. I'm just like, don't you think it's more likely that people just didn't see what they thought they saw? I don't want to... Okay.
Now beyond doubt, but that the police have any power to protect it is also very doubtful. It seems that there is also a Scottish government body in place today should Nessie ever be found, which is pretty revealing. Maybe there's more truth to the legend of Nessie than we think. Alright, let's get contentious. At number 5, we have Brexit. Okay, so I get this may be a sensitive topic for a number of people watching this video, so let me just hit you with this image from the Brexit campaign. It's the £350 million bus that the Leave campaign were peddling. So the bus says that the UK sends $350 million to the EU per week and suggests using the money on the National Health Service instead. Now this was very interesting, seeing as by and large Brexit was favoured by the Conservatives, and the Conservatives traditionally seem to favour privatisation, but cool, maybe they do care about the NHS. Only it was revealed that actually this whole bus was a lie. Let's have a listen to what Nigel Farage has to say.
Can you guarantee that's going to go to the NHS?
No, I can't, and I would never have made that.
It was also revealed that actually we don't send the EU $350 million a week.
Look, I don't know enough about British politics to get in here. I don't know everything, okay? So, no comment. I don't know.
What a mess. Consider the bus saga a microcosm for the whole Brexit campaign. Okay, moving on. It was only a matter of time before tea became the moral undoing of the United Kingdom. In fact, the British obsession with tea has been the undoing of the UK on a number of occasions. Coming into number 4, we have the
Boston
Opium
Harbor.
Wars. I'm not sure if we could consider this a lie so much as we can call it a dastardly trick, but Britain's actions towards China were
Peddling
deceptive
drugs.
and awful. Basically, in the very late 1970s, Britain was buying a lot of tea, like a lot. Basically, in the very late 1970s,
I think she means 1870s.
Britain was buying a lot of tea, like a lot of tea.
Or 1770s.
The The only problem was that China, who was selling the tea, would only trade for silver.
No, 18th
They
century.
were very, very strong on this, so much so that Britain was losing silver at a very alarming rate. To stop this, the East India Company came up with a horrible scheme that involved importing opium and getting the Chinese hooked on the drug. When they became hooked, dealers demanded payment in silver, which they then used to buy more tea. When the Chinese rulers found out that this was happening, they tried to stop it, which actually led to a war that the British won. Now, this was
two
how
wars,
the UK
right?
managed to control trade with China, by getting their people hooked on drugs and then fighting when China complained about it. Was the UK honest with the rest of the world about their methods? Not nearly honest enough. 18th century Britain, honestly, was a very scheming nation. Next up, why lie when you can
so
just
was
destroy
the
evidence?
1700s?
Coming into
I'm
number
so
three.
confused. She said, obviously she didn't mean to say 1900, 1960 or 1970s. But then she said the 1700s. It's in the 1800s. She got it wrong both times. She said 1970s, and then she said okay.
3, we have colonial crimes. By and large, we are aware that the British were not good to indigenous people when we were off colonizing half the world. It emerged in 2012 that the British destroyed
I have a call right now from healthcare. I'm not picking it up.
records in documenting their horrifying
Oh, God.
world. It emerged in 2012 that the British destroyed records in documenting their horrifying crimes and shameful acts in history in order to prevent them from falling into the hands of post-independent governments. It seems that the Kenyan government is particularly upset about the destruction of files. The Foreign Office had promised to release the files on the 37 colonies, but they were destroyed instead. Again, why tell lies when you can just destroy the truths? Coming into number 2, we have the link between the royal family and the Nazis. The royal family lied to one another as much as their lies were covered up to protect the rest of the UK and the rest of the world. It seems that we may have dodged a bullet, as the intended King of England, Edward VII, was a Nazi sympathizer. When he abdicated, he visited Hitler in Germany, and the
Isn't it sort of a Harry Meghan situation right here? Like, American woman. Well, he was a king, so it was even more so. And then he left kind of the royal family to be with the American women. It's odd.
Seventh was a Nazi sympathizer. When he abdicated, he visited Hitler in Germany, and the pair struck up a friendship. It seems that this was known by the monarchy, but swept under the carpet.
I had known
Just
about
after
this.
the war, American diplomats uncovered 400 tons of German diplomatic papers, which is a lot. These were found at Marburg Castle. The files outlined a plan called Operation Willy, in which Germans would gain control over the UK and restore Edward to the throne in return for his support. Despite British efforts to continue to hide the truth, Americans released the documents in 1957. I wanted to end on something, I know, like slightly more fun, even though it does involve death and war. This is kind of ingenious.
Sorry,
At number
I
1, we have Operation Mincemeat. It wasn't all terrible wartime lies. This lie was actually, like I said, pretty ingenious. So this idea was thought up by Lieutenant Ian Fleming. Recognize the name? He's best known for the James Bond novels. So I hope that gives you an indication of how great this plan was. Basically, this was a huge decoy deception to disguise the Allied invasion of Sicily. The British intelligence army found a dead homeless man who sadly had died from eating rat poison. They then decided to use his body and dress him up as a member of the Royal Marines.
Jesus Christ.
They deployed the body in Spain and planted fake documents and war plans on his body. Spain was supposed to be neutral at the time, but information in the documents was passed on to the Germans. Hitler then falsely believed that the Allies were going to attack the Balkans, when actually they planned to regain Sicily. It was a beautiful deception.
Wow.
So that was the top 10 lies the UK told the world.
Ended on a
Great
positive
Britain,
note.
not as above board as you might like to think. Which of these lies do you think is the most unforgivable? Although I have to end
I don't know. Stuff happens, I guess. I don't know. Cool video. Interesting. Yeah. Cool top 10 video. Usually harmless, right? Cool. Love to see your comments, and I will see you guys next time, all right? Bye, guys.